My name is Marcus, and for 3 years I lived under a shadow. It was a dark, suffocating one, woven from lies and built on the claim that I was a deadbeat father. For 36 months, I sent a check for a child I was rarely allowed to see, my reputation in tatters and my relationships strained. The truth, when it finally emerged, didn't just clear my name, it ripped the deceitful world I'd been living in to shreds. It began with my ex-girlfriend, Riley. We dated for about 8 months when she told me she was pregnant. I did what I felt was right. I was there for every doctor's appointment, helped with bills, and offered support. But our relationship was on shaky ground, and by the time our son Camden was born, we had already gone our separate ways. That's when Riley filed for child support. I had my doubts from the very beginning. The timing of the pregnancy seemed off, and there were other inconsistencies in our story. But how do you question the paternity of a newborn child? You don't. At least, I couldn't bring myself to do it. You want to believe you're doing the right thing, that you're doing your part. So I paid. Every month for 3 years, a portion of my paycheck went to Riley. The money was one thing, but the emotional cost was far greater. Riley used my payments as leverage, a way to control the narrative. She told anyone who would listen that I was a deadbeat, that I only sent money, but never wanted to see Camden. The reality was a complicated mess of excuses and broken promises. Riley had moved 2 hours away after Camden's birth, claiming it was for a new job. Every time I asked to visit, there was a reason I couldn't. Her schedule was too packed, he was asleep, or a phone call would confuse him. I began to feel like I was paying for a child I was never truly allowed to know. The lies spread like a virus. My friends started treating me differently. My own sister, after a conversation with Riley, stopped inviting me to family gatherings. My mother, who had been so excited to have a grandchild, became distant. The woman I was dating at the time left me, saying she couldn't be with a man who had abandoned his child. The final blow came when I was passed over for a promotion at work. During the interview, someone referenced my character issues and family situation. It was clear Riley had somehow reached into my professional life, poisoning it with her falsehoods. That was my breaking point. I decided I needed to know the truth, once and for all. I hired a lawyer named David Chen, a no-nonsense man who specialized in family law. He laid out my options. I had the legal right to request a DNA test. It would mean going back to court, but if the results proved I wasn't the father, I could stop the payments and finally clear my name. The legal battle was long and grueling. Riley fought the request for a DNA test with everything she had, calling it harassment and a blatant attempt to shirk my responsibilities. Her lawyer argued that by paying for 3 years, I had already accepted paternity. But the judge, Patricia Hernandez, saw through the act. She ordered the DNA test, stating that establishing biological paternity was in everyone's best interest, most importantly, Camden's. The day of the test is etched in my memory. Camden was 3.5, a beautiful boy who didn't physically resemble me at all, but I knew genetics could be unpredictable. Riley brought her new boyfriend, Travis, who had apparently been in the picture for over a year. They sat together, whispering and glaring at me. I felt a wave of sadness for Camden, an innocent bystander in this tense adult drama. The test was a simple cheek swab, but the wait for the results felt endless. For 2 weeks, I was a wreck. Part of me, the part that had grown attached to the idea of being Camden's father, hoped the test would prove me wrong. The other part, the part that had been fighting for justice for 3 years, ached for vindication. When David called with the results, his voice was carefully controlled. "The DNA test," he said, "showed a 0% probability that you are Camden's biological father." Relief washed over me, a tidal wave of it, but it was mixed with so many other emotions: anger, sadness, and a deep sense of loss. The court hearing to present the results was scheduled for the next month. Riley's demeanor had shifted entirely. Her aggression was gone, replaced by a nervous, almost terrified vulnerability. Her lawyer tried to negotiate a settlement, suggesting I gradually reduce payments instead of stopping them immediately. I refused. I wanted my day in court. I wanted the truth to be on the official record. The courtroom was small and hushed. Riley sat with her lawyer, refusing to make eye contact. When Judge Hernandez called for the DNA results, the silence was deafening. David handed over the certified lab report. As the judge read it, her expression tightened. She looked from Riley to me, her eyes lingering on the documents. The silence stretched on, thick with tension. Finally, she spoke. She confirmed that the DNA test had conclusively proven I was not Camden's biological father and that all my child support obligations were terminated immediately. But she wasn't done. Turning to Riley, she asked if she had known or suspected I wasn't the father when she filed for support. Riley's lawyer tried to object, but the judge held firm. Riley broke down, tears streaming down her face as she admitted that she had been with someone else around the time of conception. But she had chosen me because she thought I would be a better provider and father. The judge was unsparing. She explained that filing a false paternity claim was fraud and that I had grounds to sue for the recovery of all the money I had paid. She also noted that Riley's interference with my attempts to visit Camden, combined with the fraud, could lead to further legal consequences. I walked out of that courtroom with 3 years of my life vindicated, but the scars remained. Some people apologized, but others acted as if I should have known better all along. The woman who left me didn't come back. The promotion I lost was long gone. Yet there was also an overwhelming sense of relief. My instincts had been right. I wasn't crazy. I was free from the deception, and I was free from the constant strain of paying for a lie. Riley moved away shortly after the hearing. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she had broken up with Travis and was struggling financially without my payments. I felt for Camden, an innocent caught in the crossfire, but I knew that continuing the lie would have helped no one in the long run. The entire ordeal taught me a hard lesson. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't immediately rewarded, and sometimes the people who claim to care about you are the ones who hurt you most. But it also taught me that the truth has a way of rising to the surface, even when it takes years. Standing up for myself, despite the doubt and questioning, was worth it. Today, I'm in a healthy relationship with someone who values honesty above all else. The 3 years I lost to Riley's deception shaped me, but they didn't define me. Justice might be delayed, but when it finally arrives, it brings with it a clarity that makes all the struggle worthwhile.